Thank you very much. Please. Hi. Hi, Axel. Hi, Axel. And the great father of Lance Corporal Kareem Nicoy. And that's Stephen Nicoy. Please stand, Stephen. Oh, you look good, Stephen. I had them as my guest at Mar-a-Lago, and we sat down, we listened to music all night, right? And we thought about your loved ones. It was really a beautiful evening, actually. But thank you, Stephen, very much for being here. And we love you all. And it's a shame what happened there is just a shame. Everything. Has Biden done anything right? Think of it. The border, the economy is destroyed. Inflation is killing. What has he done right? We have tens of thousands of people tonight. There's not one person could stand up and say one good thing they've done. I don't think they've done everything. And we're laughed at. We're just being humiliated all over the world. Nobody respects us. It's too bad. No, we'll get back. We have to get back. Thank you. We have to, he says, look, we have to get back. It's not like making a speech. We have to get back. We have to bring sanity. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you're conservative. Not a question of being conservative. We're people with common sense. Because it's really about common sense. It's not about you're conservative and you're this. But we're people that want to see borders, and we want to see education. We want to see low taxes. These people, you're going to have a tax increase of 4 times more than you're paying right now with these maniacs. I've always said, you have to lower taxes if you're going to be a politician. This is the only group that can raise taxes, and they make it sound like it's a good thing. It's a bad thing. And, we gave you the largest tax decrease in history, largest tax cut in history. And we were going to do something. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia. We were going to drill, baby, drill. And we were going to sell the oil to Europe and Asia, and all over the place. We had them all lined up, and we were going to pay off our $34 trillion, and we were going to lower your taxes still further. And these stupid idiots come in, and they say, oh, we don't want to do that. But not least of all, we have a man here who I was very proud to endorse. I heard about him, I got to know him. He's actually one of the best mayors in the country as far as I'm concerned. But I gave him an endorsement, and it went on to a tremendous victory. Hialeah Mayor Steve Bovo. You know Steve? And Steve, could you come up? He said he wanted to say something. Let's hear Steve. But he's a great guy and a great mayor. Come on up, Steve, wherever you may be. Oh, he has a son. I don't know. Whoa.
Mr. President, we're so honored that you're here in the city of Hialeah.
Steve Bobo.
And I told you how honored we were that we were going to do right by you, because you've always kept your promise to the residents of this great nation, and we're appreciative. And I will be asking next week the City Council of Hialeah, some of the members of the City Council are here with us today. Our Council President is here, our other council members are here.
Bastante gente.
Sí, está lleno, ¿eh?
And I will be asking them next week to be able to authorize and vote affirmatively as we name a street after you, Donald Trump Way.
Mira, van a poner una avenida Donald Trump en Hialeah. Una avenida con el nombre del presidente Donald Trump. ¡Jone!
Va a poner.
Qué bueno, cara. Qué bueno. Hialeah Love Trump. Steve Bobo, ese fue electo por la campaña de Paola. Paola fue el que lo impulsó a la alcaldía.
Great honor. I did not know that. Thank you very much. And he's a great mayor and a great council you have. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it. This is more than a campaign, what we've been doing for now 7 years, 8 years when you add it all up and we started. This is a movement the likes of which this world has never seen before. The world has never seen a movement like this. Together we appointed nearly 300 federal judges, a record, and 3 great Supreme Court justices. We took on communist China like no administration in history, bringing hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury when no other president had gotten them to pay us even 10 cents. Nobody asked them for anything. They said they're a third world country. They're a developing nation. Well, so are we. We're a developing nation. They were given so much. I ended the NAFTA disaster, worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with a brand new USMCA, the best trade deal ever made. That's United States, Canada, and Mexico. I canceled Barack Hussein Obama's deal with the Cuban dictatorship and reimposed tough sanctions on the regime, and they were ready to do anything
cojones.
Cuban Americans wanted. But then they came in and they just canceled everything, and they put us back in the same weak position we've always been in. They were ready to do anything for our Cuban Americans, and for me, I kept my promise, recognized Israel's eternal capital, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. No other president. They went through many, many presidents. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. And I think most importantly, but they did nothing with it, I withdrew from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. But they did nothing with it. Under President Trump, we had peace through strength all over the world. I'm the only candidate who can make this promise to you that I will prevent World War III. You're going to have World War III if we're not careful. I was very honored, a very great head of a country, Viktor Orban, Hungary, very powerful. He fronts on both Russia and Ukraine, knows them both very well. He told me a lot of things, great guy. But they asked him about 2 weeks ago, what should Biden do? What should he do? Because the world is blowing up. The world, the United States, everything's blowing up. He said, I have a very simple answer. You know, he's one of the toughest, smartest leaders of a country, very tough. He didn't allow anybody into the country. He said, no, my country is for Hungarians. He didn't want people blowing up his shopping centers. He said, if you don't mind. But he said, my country is for Hungarians. But he said to the interviewer, here's what Biden has to do. Resign from office, let Trump take over again, and you will have peace. Because everybody respected him or feared him. China, Russia, North Korea, everybody. And I was very honored by that statement. No, I think they did. They respected me and they respected our country. And we didn't have what's going. The whole world is going crazy now. And he actually said, we're not talking just the United States. The United States has such power if it wants to use it. But you know what? With every day we're losing our power because we're losing our wealth, we're losing our strength, we're losing our spirit, we're losing our power with every day that goes by. And there'll be a time when we don't have any power. There'll be a time when we just, if things keep going like this, there's going to be a time very quickly, it's almost probably here, where we no longer have any power to help the world and help a lot of great people that are dying. We have people dying all over the world right now. Nobody would have died in Ukraine. Nobody would have died in Russia. Lost many, many soldiers. Nobody would have died. Nobody would have died. Nobody in Israel. The attack would have never taken place. Would have never taken place. To protect our citizens from foreign threats, I will build state-of-the-art missile defense shields. And the Florida space industry will be a center of the action, so you're going to be very happy. You know, it's true, I want to build a dome because, you know, you have all these countries now and more they want the weapons and they got the missiles and they got everything. And we now have it down. Ronald Reagan wanted to do that. He was met with tremendous anger from Russia. I said, why are they angry if we want to build a shield? But that's the way it was. But we're going to build a shield, and we have a technology. You see it now working all the time. It shoots down needles in the sky, We have the greatest technology in the world, and we're going to build a dome right around this country, and we're going to save ourselves from some maniac that wants to start shooting at us, all right? And it means a lot of jobs, and that's one that I like a lot. I will end Joe Biden's war on American energy, and we will unleash our most powerful economic weapon. We are going to drill for so much oil. We are going to, as I said before, we are going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to bring down your costs. We are bringing down your energy costs. We have the highest energy costs anywhere now. And you know, energy is really what started inflation. And I don't know if you've ever heard, but inflation is called the country buster. You can go back 300 years and you can see why some great empires failed. Many of them failed because of the word inflation. You look at Germany, old day Germany, and you look at so many other countries. Inflation is a country buster, and it's busting our country right now, where bacon is 5 times more expensive than it was just a short while. Bacon! Even I say, I don't want any bacon, it's too expensive. But we're going to get it under control, and we're going to do it fast, because we're going to have so much energy, and the prices are going to come down, and everything else is going to follow. Under crooked Joe Biden, the economy is floundering. Families are suffering, and the largest growth industry in our country by far is government. It's the only thing that's growing. When I'm reelected, we will stop Joe Biden's inflation disaster, and we will rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world. We'll do it. And unlike Ron DeSanctimonious, I will always protect Social Security and Medicare. He did not protect it. He wanted to do bad things to it for our great senior citizens. And when I get back into the Oval Office, I will totally obliterate the deep state. We started with Comey, we got rid of him. We got rid of a lot of bad people. We will root out the corruption, bribery, and influence selling in our nation's capital, and we will start by exposing every last crime committed by crooked Joe Biden. Because now that he indicted me, we're allowed to look at him, but he did real bad things. We will restore law and order to our communities. And I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every Marxist prosecutor in America for their illegal, racist, and reverse enforcement of the law. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto our children. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate.
Yeah.
No, we're going to make America great again. It's not going to take very long. Not going to take very long. And I will keep men out of women's sports. Is that okay?
Qué bien, cara.
I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. I will continue to protect innocent life. We will restore free speech. And I will secure our elections like they've never been secured before. And by the way, our goal on elections will be one-day voting with paper ballots and voter ID. Is that okay? Now they'll really cheat. They'll get those machines humming. They'll say, we got to get this guy out of there. He's going to cause us to lose a fortune. Yeah, we want paper ballot. You know, they make paper now. Watermark paper, that's amazing. We want paper ballots. France did it. France just went to paper ballots, one-day voting, voter ID, 36 million people. It took place at a winner, they had a loser. Everyone home, and the loser was unhappy, the winner was happy, and they'll already started the next fight. But you know what? They had no disputes. They had mail-in ballots a long time ago, and they turned out to be so corrupt. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you have corrupt elections. I don't care what it is. It's anybody that wants it, they're corrupt, and that includes Republicans, by the way. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you are going to have really corrupt elections. But until then, Republicans must win. We have to win so we can do this. And in conclusion, this is what we must do to restore our country to greatness. Together we're taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. No matter how hateful or corrupt the communists and criminals we're fighting against may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It belongs to the people with us tonight. That's how we won. This is your home. This is your heritage, and our American liberty is your God-given right. From Tampa to Tallahassee, from Pensacola to Sarasota, from Gainesville to Jacksonville to Miami, we inherit the legacy of generations of American patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears to defend our country and to defend our freedom. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the oceans, blazed the trail, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, dug out the Panama Canal. Nobody thought it was possible. Raised up the skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and from right here in this beautiful state launched our brave American astronauts to plant the American flag on the face of the moon. Together they made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. But now, we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has the highest inflation in 50 years, where banks are collapsing and interest rates are skyrocketing. Likewise, we are a nation where energy costs have reached the highest in our history. We are no longer energy independent or energy dominant. We were just there a very short number of years ago. We are a nation that is begging Venezuela and many others for oil. Please, please, please help us, Joe Biden says. Yet we have more liquid gold right under our feet than any other country anywhere in the world. We are a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will be reducing their output of oil and substantially increasing the price. And that threat is met by announcing that we will no longer be drilling for oil in large areas of Alaska and other parts of our country. We are a nation that is consumed by the radical left's Green New Deal, yet everyone knows that the Green New Deal is fake and will lead to our country's destruction. We are a nation whose leaders are demanding all-electric cars, despite the fact that they can't go far, cost too much, and whose batteries and all of the other elements of those horrible cars are produced in China with materials only available in China, when an unlimited amount of gasoline is available inexpensively right here in the United States. But it's not available in China. And now we are a nation that wants to make our great army tanks all electric. so that despite the fact that they will not be able to go very far, fewer pollutants will be released into the air of the territory that we are trying to conquer. And they also want to make our fighter jets with a green energy stamp losing 15% efficiency, but allowing us to keep our enemy's atmosphere crystal clear while we attempt to knock out their air force. We are a nation that ended oil exploration and production in the United States just as the price of oil reached an all-time high. What other country would do such a thing? We are a nation that surrendered in Afghanistan, leaving behind dead soldiers, American citizens, and $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment anywhere in the world. We are a nation that allowed Russia to devastate a country, Ukraine, killing hundreds of thousands of people, and it will only get worse. It would never have happened with me as your president, and for 4 straight years, it didn't happen. And China, with Taiwan, is next. We are a nation that has weaponized its law enforcement against opposing political parties, something that we have never done before. We've got a Federal Bureau of Investigation that won't allow bad election-changing facts to be presented to the public, and which offers $1 million to a writer of fiction about Donald Trump to lie and say it was a fact, not fiction. Where Hunter Biden's laptop from hell was Russian disinformation, and the FBI knew it wasn't, but 51 intelligence agents said it was, and they knew it wasn't also. And a Department of Justice that refuses to investigate egregious acts of voting irregularities and fraud. And we have a man who is totally corrupt and the worst president in the history of our country, who is cognitively impaired, in no condition to lead, and is now in charge of dealing with Russia and possible nuclear war, which would be World War III and far more devastating than any of the previous world wars, because of the weaponry that no one ever wants to think about, talk about, but it's there. We are a nation that no longer has a free and fair press. Fake news is all you get, and they are the enemy of the people. They refuse to discuss the Biden crime family, but enjoy covering false indictments of Donald Trump, who has done nothing wrong. We are a nation where free speech is no longer allowed, and where crime is rampant and out of control like never ever before. We are a nation that is allowing Iran to build a massive nuclear weapon, and China to use the trillions of dollars it has taken from us to build a military to rival its own. And less than 3 years ago, we had Iran, China, Russia, and North Korea in check. They weren't going to do a thing against us, and everyone knows that was the fact. Now Russia and China are holding summits to carve up the world, and perhaps most important.
All right, so what you've been listening into, this is live now, it's Austin Westfall. What you've been listening into is former President Trump's rally, which is happening in Hialeah, Florida, within 1 hour's driving distance to where the third GOP primary debate is taking place in Miami. You've been listening to the president's remarks. We do have to slide away for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
No, wait. Commercial.